Greetings, everyone. Anne Marie with We Thrive at Life. So, I wanted to take this time to come here and give people an opportunity to take a free course called 90 Days to Skating Through Your Holiday Season. And a few years ago, I think it's a couple of years now. This is going to be my second year. I wrote a book called Preparation for the King, a Wellness and Mindset Journey, 31 Days to a Stable Christmas. And I found that in living my own life, I had a lot of apprehension around this time of the year, between seeing family members that I hadn't seen in a long time and experiencing, different dynamics with family and things like that. Um, Sometimes it just the thought of going home was difficult for me. And so, what I wanted to do is to share with people around my book and around things that I've learned, how we can prepare our mindsets so that we can have this great journey and celebrate this holiday season. So, during the 90 days, we're going to split it up into three different safe phases. So, the first one is going to be grounding ourselves and our spirits, our minds before the holiday rush so that we're prepared. And then we're going to go into navigating relationships, emotions, and celebrations with harmony because we all want harmony. We all, I remember a movie, I don't remember the name of it, but I remember a phrase to it. It was like, can't we all just get along? And so that's what I'd like for people this holiday season is to get along, but for real. And then I want to reflect and rejoice and end the year with clarity, with gratitude, and intentional celebration. So each week, we're going to have a scripture focus, a mindset prompt, a wellness tracker to help you track how are your moods? Are you moving around? How are you nourishing yourself? Are you getting proper rest? The normal things that our bodies need. And then we'll talk about self-care, things that we can do to care for ourselves that can make us lighter during this season. And then for fun, because I teach the DISC method of harmoniously getting along with people, we'll have some little fun insights of the dominant personality, the influential personality, the steady personality, and the cautious personality. So we'll get to kind of see who we are and see who our family is, which will help us to communicate better, understand each other, and just help us to get through a little bit better. And then for those of us that love to celebrate and love to plan things, there'll be a little section for celebration planner. So I'm just so excited to be with you today to launch this off. It's officially from today, 90 days until Christmas. And so I know that a lot of people, even myself, is like, you can think of it two ways. Oh, wow, we have 90 days. Or, oh, wow, we have 90 days, or only have 90 days. And so, depending on your perspective, the cup could be half full or half empty at the moment. But let's level it off and make it best for all of us. So, on this journey together, we're going to just mind our minds. We're going to become masters of our thoughts and where those thoughts lead us so that we don't go down rabbit holes that we can't get ourselves out of. We want to incorporate the wellness and the self-care so that we could kind of prepares our bodies to handle things. It's almost the mindset, the self-care, and the things that we're going to be are going to be like a soft shield in front of us so that whatever little arrows may hit us will not be able to penetrate like they used to in prior years. That's my goal for everyone. And I know for many of us, the anxiety meter takes a big spike when the holidays start to approach. I mean, just the thought of being with certain family members or cooking a turkey or maybe a traditional dinner can cause us to cringe in terror. And so we want to kind of keep that at bay and continue to have a good time and to really be cognizant of what's around us. Because if we're in that fight or flight mode, we may not perceive things the way that they actually are. So there's a pre-gradual spike in our anxiety as autumn transitions into the holiday season. So the meter is going to kind of show a steady, moderate increase. I feel like I'm telling the weather. Um, and this is when the pressure of the upcoming season kind of starts to build. The weather starts to get colder, the days start to get shorter, and we know that season is coming. For some people, anxiety rises with the first festive displays in stores, like Halloween, I believe, is already out, if not Thanksgiving by now. So as your mind starts ticking through, and seeing things, it starts ticking through maybe a checklist of tasks that you need to do before the season comes. And then there's the anticipation of the deadlines, the feelings, around financial and social demands, such as budgeting for gifts. Maybe you have to travel to see your family, scheduling of events. If you have littles, then maybe there's these pageants and all these other things happening. And then inside of us, there's, just that anticipatory anxiety, because we just kind of dread those future events and family dynamics. So some spike triggers to be mindful of are family gatherings, where you know that you're going to be with certain people, certain things may be shared, and that's going to, you know, probably result in some conflicts. Some of them may have been unresolved for years, but we're going to try again this year. And especially those involving people where we have strained relationships. So these are some of the things that can help that anxiety spike uh, and be a trigger. The next one would be the financial pressure, where, stressful shopping trips, crowds, getting the gift that you want and maybe not having planned for that, travel costs or anything like that. And then maybe there's a social overload where you're attending or hosting a string of events, and you can get tired from that, and just kind of being on all the time with the people that are around you can lead to a spike. For those of us who are hosting, or even those who are attending, we could max out just, being detail oriented and having to do all these tasks. You don't want to burn your pie or your cookies. You want to make sure your decorations are all, nice, and gifts, you being ready for people that are coming. Have you gotten the right gifts and things like that? And then for some people, unfortunately, there may be grief and loneliness for those who've lost a loved one, especially around the holiday season, or maybe this is the first holiday without that person. The holiday season can just be a painful reminder of that person's absence from our lives. They're not present with us anymore here. So that might cause some sadness and anxiety for some of us. And then, of course, we have what I coach a lot of people on is seasonal affective disorder, called SAD, which, when the sunlight is reduced, pushes the anxiety meter even higher and compounding the holiday stress. So, we're going to talk about how we can have brief reprieves from this by just having mindful moments, being in calm, maybe quietly going for a quiet walk, listening to music. That's one of my favorite things to do. Music just sparks the electricity in our minds and in our bodies, because we are energy and music is energy. And so songs that have good melodies that spike our hearts in a good way and that help our minds to stay at peace are good. And try to pick songs that have positive tunes and positive words, and just keep practicing your breathing while you're listening, and just be present to where you are right now, because the Lord wants good for all of us, and he doesn't want any of us to be living in any type of fear or terror. And a lot of times fear can be false evidence appearing real, or past evidence coming to haunt us. And so we just want to put everything in its place and have the right perspective as we move along into the holiday season. And then we have the towards the end of the holidays, we have kind of like that drop, everything's over and now we have new things to face. Maybe we overspent a little, or so now we've got debt. Maybe we overate a little and now we have, you know, um, a little bit extra around our bodies. And so all of these things can contribute to us having some spikes within the season. And so each week we're going to do some mindset mastery. We're going to talk about wellness and self-care, spiritual preparation, relational harmony, um, disc informed, like I mentioned, and then celebrating something each week with intention. Because I think it's so easy for us to just go through our days and forget the little things. And the word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. So the things we believe what our voices say more than anyone else's voice. And so it's good when our voices declare things that are positive, that are good, that don't cause anxiety. When we think on those things, our bodies have a different response to the things that are around us. And so if we stay with that healthy mindset, um, you know, just staying in calm, we don't have to be in control all the time. We can release the things that we don't have control of, tracking our moods and our movements. Like I said before, getting the proper rest, especially during this time, and not burning the candle at both ends, will help us to have a better holiday season. So each week we're going to focus on something a little different. We're going to have devotional reflection, and we're going to be able to come together as a group and talk about the things, like girl talk, coffee talk, whatever you want to call it, but talk about those things that are causing us to have anxiety. And together we will be able to frame what's happening, keep it within that frame, and turn it into a beautiful picture and not some big scribble that's in our brain right now. We can rewrite the script to our lives by how we deal with each situation that comes up. And I just want you to know that you're not alone in this. We will be going through it together. And together we can have that great holiday season. So there's also going to be like fun quizzes to do each week and how to live in harmony and just learn some new things to help us. And these things that we learn aren't just going to be for the holidays. These are going to be habits that are going to be transforming to our lives because we're going to have this time together. We're going to learn how to handle the things of life, get a new perspective of when things come at us, and learning to put these habits in place and restructure our mindset is going to give us a great 2026, 2027, 2028, however long we're around, because these things that the way that we're going to study them as they're structured are going to help us in days to come. So it's not just going to be 90 days, I'm going to have a great Christmas and I'm going to move forward. These are to build habits for life that won't just affect you this holiday season, but for every season to come. So I hope that you'll join me and that you'll come and just bring yourself and come for fun and come for transformation. So again, thanks so much for being with me at We Thrive at Life. I'm so looking forward to this season together and hang out for more.